Hey guys, Disler Magic here, and Blake Rasmussen released another article that he probably didn't write. Oh yeah, so we're gonna go through it. It is titled Challenger Decks and the Final Duel Deck. Oh boy. So it says, December is all about familiar endings and new beginnings, and blah, 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 and then they try to be funny, and it's just cringy crap humor, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's get to the next paragraph. Duel Decks, Elves versus Inventors. Oh boy, let's start with a goodbye. On April 6, 2018, we will be releasing the final entry in the Duel Deck series. 10 years ago, we released the first Duel deck, Elves versus Goblins, and lo, it was good. My god, why don't they hire somebody who can write without just being like cringy and sounding like some like overly poetic 13-year-old girl's fan fiction writing? I get the impression that if Blake Rasmussen wrote this, that he actually thinks he's funny with all this stuff, and it's just not. Now, as we turn our attention to the future, we've decided to retire Duel Decks and move on to other products. But for one last hurrah, we'll be releasing Duel Decks Elves vs. Inventors. After Goblins just got their second turn at the Duel Decks wheel, which I believe was the last one, I think that's what they're referring to. I don't know, I didn't buy it. We figured the second of our original dueling tribes should get a second go-around as well. Or they could not, because I hate elves, and so do most people. So the nature-loving, bone-crushing elves will be duking it out with the agents of the antithesis of their very being, Artifice. Okay, that is, like, completely not correct. So that's pretty racist, but I mean, at least be accurate with your racism. I mean, the people who are like, let's not disrupt the natural order of things and let's work with the forest and not build things because things that are built are abominations. That's the merfolk, for God's sake. Elves love building crap. What the hell? I mean, I guess artificer is like, oh, it's artificial. You know, I'm sure those words are related. And they build like unnatural mechanical things, but not always. Sometimes they just build buildings. You know who else does that? Elves. Anyway, like previous Duel Deck releases, you'll be getting 2 ready-to-play decks, 10 tokens, 2 deck boxes, a strategy insert, a quick reference guide, and 2 spin-down life counters. These will be available in English and Japanese, and that's it. That's a weird choice. And we'll have an MSRP of $19.99. I actually thought Duel Decks were like $25 or $30. I don't know. It's not really my kind of product. So now they go on to say Challenger Decks. Okay, Challenger Decks are your on-ramp to standard. What is that? What does that mean? On the ramp decks? What? God, learn how to write, Blake. Please, for the love of God, learn how to write sentences. These 4 individual 75 card decks, what the hell, 75? Okay, I hope they mean 60 plus 15. Anyway, they're geared towards standard play for Friday Night Magic. For the Friday Night Magic player. And Magic is in italics for no apparent reason. Friday Night is capitalized. Player is not. So they're geared towards standard play for the Friday Night Magic player and forged out of some of the most powerful strategies in standard. Oh boy, they're selling net decks. That's awesome. I can totally get behind that. Okay, I'm just kidding. That was a joke. They clearly have proven that they do not know how to predict what decks will be popular and what cards will be popular in standard after the release of a set. They just don't. So I think I have a pretty good idea of what these decks are going to contain. It's pretty obvious, actually, but let's keep reading and see what their take on it is. Each Challenger deck comes with a complete 60-card main deck and a 15-card sideboard. Oh, thank God. I thought they were legit giving out 75-card decks because they said 75-card deck. That phrase. That exact words. Anyway, and they're intended to be playable and competitive at the local level right out of the box. Good luck with that. All cards will have been previously printed in standard and are standard legal. That's an odd way to phrase it, considering it will almost definitely be a simultaneous release with a standard set, because then it's not previously printed or previously legal. It should probably contain cards from, you know, the current set that's being released. Oh, guys, pirates and dinosaurs, and we're also selling a vehicle deck. So they said it comes with, let's see, the following, a box capable of holding 75 sleeved cards, a spin-down life counter, and a quick reference guide. So it's pretty much just the deck, straight up. No boosters, no front card, nothing. Now, here's where it gets a little weird. It says Challenger decks will be available April 6, 2018. What a coincidence. And we'll have an MSRP of $29.99. Ooh. I mean, you can build a couple of my decks for under like 20, I'll say, all things considered, you know, especially if you count like basic lands and stuff. But I don't know, to get a highly competitive deck, usually it costs you about 30 to 40. That's right where the price point usually is for like a good 2-color deck with like some moderately priced rares and mythics. These decks will be available worldwide in English with Japanese available in Japan. Once again, that is the strangest way to write that sentence that he possibly could have come up with. It's like a double inverse negative exclusion statement. I don't even understand that. Okay, I need to mention, I used to be one of the top paid, most successful professional writers for a company larger than Wizards of the Coast. So I'm not just like throwing shade to throw shade, it's because this is bad. I was also an editor for them, and I got to read and reject other people's content. I had an 80% reject rate. And so they say, watch for the full deck lists in February, which, yeah, I mean, spoiler season, I guess is going to spoil the whole deck. So then they have a special statement from Gavin Verhey, who is the product architect of the Challenger decks. He says, with Challenger decks, R&D is bringing the top strategies of Standard right to your local game store shelf. Our play design team, full of seasoned pros, which actually is the number one complaint about that team, built these decks by looking at popular and successful Pro Tour and Grand Prix Standard decks. Okay, if that's where they went to look, now we've got a problem. Oh, then they say, and we didn't pull many punches. These decks are intended to be very strong and feature many rares as well as at least 2 mythic rares. See, that in itself is contradictory. Either build the best deck or don't. I mean, why are you gonna, like, what do they call that? Like, why are they going to limit themselves to, oh, we have to put this constraint on it. It has to come with at least 2 mythic rares or people aren't going to see the value. Okay, I'm going to unload on why this is a terrible idea in a second, but there's one more paragraph left. So, traditionally, with fixed deck products, we've built them so far in advance that the decks wouldn't look like what players were playing by the time they released. Hey, it's them admitting that they don't know what the hell is going to be popular after they release something. I mean, I get it. It's really difficult, but it shouldn't be that difficult. But then again, they missed, like, the Felidar Cat combo, so they're really not good at predicting anything. But with Challenger decks, we changed our entire process so that we could build them much, much closer to release. That's interesting. I think you're going to be very excited by what you see inside Challenger decks. No. And I'll be back to tell you a lot more about them in just a couple months. Woo, I'm so excited. Oh my god, I feel like I should take notes on the different reasons that this is a bad idea so I don't miss something. But let's start with the positive because, you know, they would not make a 100% negative choice. Some people aren't into building decks and they don't know what to build. So what do? They go online and they either go to the top tournament results if they're like that kind of douchebag, or they'll just go on like a forum or Reddit or whatever, some kind of deck building community, maybe a Facebook group, whatever. And they'll just say, hey, what's kind of powerful? What's kind of fun? You know, just look through like 15 different deck lists and say, oh, that looks fun and it looks like it'll win. It looks like it's a pretty good matchup against what other people are playing. I'll build that, you know? And so, like, that's not net decking. Net decking is like, I need the most powerful deck in the world, scan through the entire tournament results, build what you think is number one because you have an unhealthy obsession with winning. Okay, that's net decking. Just going on a forum and somebody's like, hey, I put together like a mill deck and it kind of works. People are like, oh, I love mill. Okay, cool, they build it. I mean, some people just want to play Magic and they don't want to build decks because building decks and playing Magic are kind of two different things. I mean, I think you should have to do both. But that's like going to an Olympic sport and being like, well, why don't you also do the relay instead of just the regular foot races? I'm so sure they're called foot races. Well, what if you don't like passing batons and the high pressure and the whole teamwork thing? What if you're not into that? You just want to run. So, like, I totally get that. I don't agree with it, and it's totally not me, but, like, I get it, and I acknowledge that that's some people. But then there's still the barrier. They still have to get the cards. They have to put them together. They have to, you know, buy the singles and all this. And it's like this whole thing. So I guess they're saying, why don't we just cut to the chase and just sell the damn deck? Which I think Pokemon has done this. I think maybe even Yu-Gi-Oh! Honestly, I think Magic used to do this. I'm not sure. But I'm like fairly sure that Pokemon, like, they would take the top 2 decks that went to like the first and second place for the finals at Worlds and then like sell them. Like, the second that the World Tournament was over, they would just be like, cool, let's take the top 2 decks and sell them to people. I mean, that's one way to make money. So anyway, it's a $30 MSRP, so just dropping $30 on a deck and then like $5 to $10 or whatever to enter F&M, I could see somebody finding that to be reasonable. So the price is totally on point for what it is. I mean, you don't get much with it, you don't get any boosters, whatever, but it's just like what you need to play. It's standard legal at the end, and everybody knows that Planeswalker decks are weak as hell and they're pretty much a casual product. So this costs twice as much, but you probably get, you know, more than twice the power if that was even something that could be measured. So will it sell? Yeah. Will people be interested in it? Yeah. So, I mean, it's not what I would call a bad product, but it's a bad idea. Okay, when was the last time you saw a $30 deck? What was the phrase that they said? Oh yeah, a $30 deck that was, quote, popular and successful at the Pro Tour and Grand Prix. So if they're not joking around, they're like, no, we're going to build these. That's what we're building. Maybe not verbatim, but we're going to build like that strategy because that overall mechanic and strategy is doing well at the Pro Tour and Grand Prix. And they have the proof, they have the numbers. You're going to put $200 worth of cards into a $30 product. And while that sounds wonderful and people will buy it just for the value, holy crap, will that kick the price of cards in the nuts. You just can't crash the price that well. I mean, it's like, yeah, you sold that, but remember, Wizards doesn't sell singles because they want you and single sellers online to open boxes. The second that a card shows up in a dual deck or a planeswalker deck, it is worthless. That has always been true. I got a foil mythic Mindrack Demon and it was worth about $7 because that was one of the alternate art promo front cards on one of the dual decks. I mean, you can't pull a $40 card out of a $30 product and have it remain $40 forever. People will just open the living crap out of these and sell the singles until the card's $4. So let's just assume that they're lying about this, or at the very least exaggerating. It's not a $200, $300, $400, $500, $600 Pro Tour and Grand Prix, on the button deck. It's just like, oh look, let's see what's doing really well right now. Pharaoh's Gift. Okay, they're gonna build Pharaoh's Gift, but they're gonna take, they're not gonna drop in like 8 $10 dual lands. They're dropping those out for some kind of, it comes in tapped. So this will be like a standard competitive deck that will compete at F&M, which is what they said it's designed to do. But they're taking, $80 worth of lands out of it and just replacing them with garbage lands. And then you just get to play one turn behind, basically. And remember, they also said they're designed to be strong and feature many rares as well as at least 2 mythic rares. What if somebody's deck list doesn't have any mythics in it at all? What if it's not rare heavy? What if it's really uncommon heavy, but it's still highly competitive and really good? Are you going to stuff rares in there that the deck doesn't need? I mean, I'm really getting the impression that these are not like verbatim exact deck lists from the tournament. They're just going to kind of resemble the strategy. Now, I gotta say, the fact that it includes a sideboard is actually pretty interesting. I usually leave the sideboard up to people because it should be built to beat your local meta. It should make up for whatever weakness and whatever deck is beating you. But it is kind of cool that they included it, because otherwise, I mean, to play at F&M, you really should have a sideboard, and then you'd have to go build one. It would be pretty clear what to put in it based on, the deck's potential weaknesses and some things you'd want to flip, like single target removal versus multi-target sweeper removal. But I think they're really, really playing up the whole, they're Pro Tour and Grand Prix decks, because they for $30 they just can't be, and if they were $100, do you really think that they'd be selling them? So while this product will likely sell well, it's not going to make up for the fact that, it's going to kill other sales. I mean, if you're going to pick up your singles and come up with a deck idea all by yourself, you're either going to buy them online, and then those are single sellers who open boxes, buy the boxes from Wizards and distributors, and Wizards makes money, or buy the singles or buy booster boxes from your local gaming store and build something out of that. But it gets worse. Other people who aren't going to touch these decks because they want to build their own deck, which is a lot of people, they usually will, get some seed cards, like they'll open 1 or 2 or 3 boxes or whatever, and now they've got, just about like 4 of every common. Otherwise, they'll just pick up commons and uncommons at, the local gaming store. But it's not like they're going to pull 4 copies of every rare they need or every dual color land they need by, unless they open like 2 cases, and who does that? But they still open the boosters because they know, look, a $12 mythic, or a planeswalker, a foil dual land, whatever. I pulled some value. I don't personally need this, but I can trade it to somebody else or trade it in for store credit and get the cards I do need. So they're like, cool, the fact that I can trade with people means that even if I open a card I don't need, I can trade it for a card I do need. So let's just drop $200 or whatever, buy 2 boxes. Okay, I don't know, anybody who sells them for $100 a piece. But knowing that they can trade with other people who did the same, that's cool. That keeps them buying boxes, because otherwise buying a box is not a good strategy for building a deck. But now everybody else just bought the deck. They just bought the challenger deck. So they have 0 cards for trade, 0 extraneous cards of any type, and now you have nobody to trade with. So now you, instead of buying, boxes to open and boosters and all that, you just go online and buy the singles. That's not good for local gaming stores, especially when they'll be paying about $16, I think, for these and then selling them for $30. $14, that's not very good. And so from a player/consumer standpoint, are these good? I'm still going to say no, because everybody can look up the 4 deck list, because I think they said there will be 4 variations of these. They know what cards are in it. They know what cards are in the sideboard. And even if they don't just like study and memorize them, it's still like, okay, you've played against it. Like if 5 people bring the same damn deck and that's all you play against, not only is that annoying for variety reasons, and anybody buying the challenger decks risk playing lots and lots of mirror matches, you're just not going to win if people know exactly what's in your deck. I mean, even if you have a natural advantage, they know exactly what cards go together, what the combos are, what the pace is, what the weaknesses are, what you're probably holding based on what you did. I mean, you have to use, mystery and unknown information to your advantage. So, playing with a deck that everybody knows, not smart. Not if you want to win, at least. And that's the thing. If you just drop $30 on a deck and go to F&M, you shouldn't necessarily expect to absolutely sweep and just dominate, because then wouldn't everybody do that? And that's kind of the catch-22 with this product. It's either really bad and really not competitive, and you're just not going to outplay what other people are playing with, and then nobody wants the decks because they're not good enough, or the decks are hyper powerful. They really are competitive. Like it would be like, one would be like white vampires, one would be like black vampires, because that's a thing. One would be God Pharaoh's Gift, and another one would be, I don't know, Teamer Energy, I guess we'll go with. Okay, well then why the hell would I spend anything more than $30 when I can drop $30, buy a highly competitive, extremely powerful deck, and then just show up with that, and then everybody will do it. Nobody will buy any other products because they're set, they have a deck now, and then it's nothing but boring, repetitive, stupid mirror matches with 4 different variations, and that's it. And I don't think that the 4 decks are designed to be perfect matchups either. I mean, if they took them from the tournament results, okay, they're going to be okay matchups, I guess, but I don't know. It just seems like such a bad idea. If people don't buy them, they're a bad product, and if people do buy them, they'll ruin F&M by everybody bringing the same deck. That's pretty much what I'm saying. And at the end of the day, the whole, hey, we're Wizards and we're selling you net decks now, that obviously I'd have a problem with that. So I get the logic here, but I think after like 1 or 2 product releases of feedback on this product and game stores complaining about what it's doing to the F&M community and the meta, yeah, these are going to be gone pretty damn quick. But I will say one thing, I guess technically if you don't look at the consequences and the details just as a product, they are a better product than Duel decks. And at $30, I think they're still within, casual targeting. So if people want to play, something that's not quite as, hand-holdy and babyish like a Planeswalker or a Welcome deck, but they still want to play kitchen table or at school with their friends, yeah, I could see them picking these up, because they just sound more powerful. I mean, they basically said they're more powerful than most pre-made decks. But still, the whole decision as a whole, it's a negative. It's a thumbs down for me. And for those reasons, I'm out. That's a Shark Tank reference. So anyway, what do you guys think? Will you buy them or will you not? And do you like the fact that other people will be buying them? And do you think that your local gaming store is going to enjoy selling them? Let me know your thoughts on it. And hey, this actually wasn't a Bitcoin video. What do you know? But guess what? I'm going to put a Bitcoin link down in the description anyway, because apparently it worked a little bit better than I thought. If you want to get into Bitcoin investing, the place to go is Coinbase. It's not even like up to opinion anymore. Bitrex, I don't love them, and I think they're closed to new registrations because they're so flooded. They can't handle the traffic right now, so they're out. Do not even get me started on Kraken, okay? I am not the only one with a problem with Kraken. So what's left? Probably one of the biggest exchanges in the world, an online wallet host that's been around since almost the beginning of Bitcoin and is well respected, and I'm pretty sure they've never been hacked. Yeah, that would be Coinbase. So get this, okay? People are like, oh, I wonder if I could get, 10%, 20% return on the investment. Here's a way to get 10%. Use the link down in the description. Not only will I get $10, but you'll get $10 if you buy a purchase of $100 or more of any cryptocurrency that they offer. They've got a wonderful exchange named GDAX. I use it every day. They got some really fast servers. They're upgrading everything. They got killer customer support. I mean, I'd be plugging them whether I made money off that link or not. So yeah, start off your $100 purchase with $110, a 10% return right off the bat. There's a little buffer for in case one of your favorite coins takes a dive. And plus you'd be supporting me, unlike Uber, who refuses to respond to my emails. Seriously, they have a really nice affiliate program and I like driving for Uber, but if they don't approve it, you're going to get some different Uber stories. Let's just put it that way. Oh, that Uber driving stories video is going to have a little different tone to it. But for now, it's all Coinbase, so they're unofficially my sponsor, even though they didn't sponsor me and it's just a referral link. I feel like they wouldn't really care for my channel. So thanks, and I'll see you guys next video.